I want to ask you this, Sina. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to be here. So there's an Asian student who's out in the streets, going on Fox and stuff, complaining about not getting into all of the Ivy League schools that he applied to. He got a 1590, which is almost perfect on his SATs, and he was rejected from 6 elite universities. And his name is John Wang. He's 18. He has a 4.65 GPA in high school. Like, dude,
too high.
Doing too much. And a perfect score in math on his SATs. He was rejected by MIT, Caltech, Princeton, Harvard, Carnegie Mellon, University of California, Berkeley. He blames affirmative action. He said, I gave them my test scores and then they must have ran the model on that. He said, they told me I had a 20% chance of getting accepted to Harvard as an Asian American and a 95% chance as an African American. His parents, of course, come from mainland China. So I want to just, Mindy Kaling's brother did this bull crap a few years ago. And did we interview him? I think we interviewed him, Smiz. Go find that interview. I remember this. I feel like you weren't here though, Smith. So you're gonna have to go back in the archives. But I remember this case because it was early on in my tenure here, and he didn't have to put on blackface because he's darker than me, but he changed his name, did all this thing, and it's like a gotcha moment. But what you don't understand about universities is it's supposed to be an amalgam of all kinds of walks of life and different people from backgrounds, because the experiment is for young people to bang up against people that are not like them so that they can get a real education in life, learning from people from different walks of life, right? So you know why 95% chance of being black and getting in? Because at the Ivies, only 8 and as low as 5% of black people get into these Ivy Leagues. We make up, I think, 20% of the population, but the census will tell you 13, 12% because we don't fill out the census. But that's not even representative of a swath of America, right? 5 to 8% of us get in Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Carnegie Mellon, all of that. So Asians make up less. Like, what percentage of the population are Asians? I want to say it's less than 10%, but I don't think they fill out the census either. So I can't say that for sure. But let's say, for kicks and giggles, say they make up 12%, which they don't. They make up 20% of the Ivy League, 20.5%, if I'm being exact, of the Ivy League entrants. So, yeah, you have a 20% chance of getting in as an Asian and a 95% chance because you're smart, dude. I know you're smart enough to understand why. And if you're not smart enough, maybe you don't deserve to go to those schools. Maybe that's the problem, because you don't have the acumen to be able, the EQ to know why it's important to have diversity in these colleges. Sina, did you feel that way when you were going to school, that you were being overlooked by some black person, took your spot?
No, never. No, I think this is exactly. I went to GW. I applied to go to GW in DC because it had one of the higher diversity rates because I wanted to be in a city, not just the university itself. But being in DC, I knew there would be languages everywhere, there are different types of cultures and people everywhere. That's what I wanted. I sought that out, right? And that's why I like being in cities and stuff. But a lot of people don't realize, to the point you're making, is that universities are about not just the academic education, but the social education and being able to be in a society. And we've kind of lost the plot when it comes to these things, that we think a university, because we have this equation in our head that Ivy League equals, and then like success. Look at the other way that people need to also remember, and I don't see this young man complaining about this, but the backdoor way into these Ivy League school. Maybe your parents should have been more wealthy and they could have bought your way in. They could have bought a building or did a donation or helped a sports team, and you could have gotten a better chance at that. So the system is rigged in a variety of different ways, but the least way it's rigged is finding it a diverse population of people to go to the school.
And why doesn't he know that? You know, with all this going on in this world, and I just looked it up, Asians make up 7% of the population. So you have a 20% chance as 7% of the population of getting in the Ivy League. I have a 95% chance as 12% of the population, but I'm only less than 10% of the actual entrance, like that.
Yeah.
We don't get in at the same rate. You 20% get in versus 5 to 9%. Clearly, did I say 9? Let me see. Look at my scores. Princeton, Asians 20.5%, Hispanics 11.4%, African Americans 8%. So Hispanics have a better chance. Why didn't you ask about Hispanics? Do you know what I'm saying? It's dishonest. So I feel like and there's this cultural indoctrination into, you know, how you should view Black people. When you come here, you get your green card and how to be racist, right? It's automatic. It's drilled into you. This is how you get ahead. And I feel like it's time for us to really stop this, you know, and have a conversation with all these folk and call them out, because this is some bull crap. And it's damaging. It's damaging to this thing that we want to have, which is community and culture here. I don't know, but it's prevalent too, you know. And here's the other problem, because these schools set these bars, right? So you told folk how to get in, and these folk figured it out. Like, they know how to come. They got the testing down. That's why they win the spelling bees. Like, there's a whole system involved in how to get, you know, 1,600 on your SATs. I ain't take an SAT prep course. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I just went in and took it. I didn't know that there was all of these different things you could do to get higher scores, to get a better chance. So they cracked the code, and now y'all mad. Like, the universities don't even know what to do, because they're applying in droves, because you told them this is the way to success.
Yeah.
And they followed the model. I can't be mad at them, but what you're not going to do is drag Black people in this.
And parents of these, like Asian parents, are telling their kids, this is what you need to do to be successful. And they drill it into them at a very young age. It was drilled into me at a young age. I fought it back all the time that I needed to like memorize all these vocabulary words for the SATs. I had to do all this writing because, like, you know, English wasn't a native language at our home. So I needed to like be studying even more. All of that stuff backfired, by the way. And so
no, it didn't. You got a law degree. You're successful. So you stop it. I know you got a brother that's a doctor, but you know, this you pretty much followed the model.
But I mean, I didn't get into any of these fancy schools or whatever. And you know, but at the same time, it's like we need to think about a better way of just coexisting. And that should be the lesson parents teach their kids, as opposed to, we live in a capitalist society and it's cutthroat, and you need to be better than the person next to you, or else they're going to cut your throat. And that's the society a lot of these kids grow up in. That's the reality that's created at a lot of their homes. And it's not necessarily the right one.
It's not, and not even necessarily. It just absolutely is not.